Hello, welcome to my channel Learn Driving with Common Man. This is our third lesson of learning theory test for UK driving license. And let's start with the question. We have it on the screen. In my last video, I made a mistake. I said we doing questions of attitude topic in the theory test. It wasn't the attitude. We are actually doing the alertness. This is it's a topic in the theory test of UK driving license. That's what we are practicing currently. The topic is alertness. I have already made two lessons on this topic. This is our third lesson, and the question begins now. What should you do before making a U-turn? What the question is asking us, imagine yourself, you're sitting in the car and you're about to make a U-turn. And what kind of actions you should be performing safely without causing any dangers for others and yourself. Let's see the options. Give an arm signal as well as using your indicators. Check road markings to see that U-turns are permitted. Look over your shoulder for a final check. Select a higher gear than normal. Right. Here, if I remember as far as I can, I don't think so there is any arm signals for a U-turn. Or if there is, then please do remind me about it in the comment section below. Please do rectify me. Now, the next option is check road markings to see that U-turns are permitted. I think that is one of the likely to be the answer of this question, this option, because on some roads U-turn are not permitted. There is a sign posted on some roads, placed on some roads, that you cannot make a U-turn on telling us that you cannot make a U-turn on that road. There are some roads that you cannot make a U-turn. But let's see the next option. Look over your shoulder for a final check. I think that is also very important before making a U-turn, to look over your shoulder to see if there is any cyclist or motorcyclist on the either side of your cars, so that you won't become any hazard or put them in a dangerous position as well. Select a higher gear than a normal. No, definitely not this one. You do not make a U-turn in the higher gears because the higher gears require more speed than the gears and the lower gears. When you have your car in the low gears, it requires low speed but more power. When your car is in a higher gear, it requires a more speed and a low power. Let's see, I'm gonna go for the number 3. Hopefully this is the right one. Let's check our answer. Woohoo! It was the right one. If you have to make a U-turn, slow down and ensure that the road is clear in both directions, and make sure that the road is wide enough for you to carry out the maneuver safely. Use your mirrors and look around to check it's safe before turning across the road. Okay, that was a description of choosing the right answer. Now let's move on to the next question. Now, you are driving on a wet road. What should you do if you have to stop your vehicle? Sorry, excuse me. If you have to stop your vehicle in an emergency. Now, if I was driving a car on a wet road, there's been a rain and the roads are wet now, and I'm driving on a wet road, and if I had to stop my car urgently in an emergency manners, and what should I do before I take that action? Before I do that, let's see the options. Apply the parking brake and foot brake together. Keep both hands on the steering wheel. Select the reverse gear. Give an arm signal. I think, well, I think for the option 3 and 4 are not going to be the ones answer of this questions. Of this question, apply the parking brake and foot brake together. I do not, mm, see in any condition that a driver is driving a car apply the foot brake and parking brake simultaneously at the same time. Neither have been taught by my instructors, nor I have learned it from anywhere. So I am gonna go for the option 2. Let's see if it's right. It is the right one. And why was it right? As you drive, look well ahead and all around so that you are ready for any hazard that might develop. If you have to stop in an emergency, react as soon as you can while keeping control of the vehicle. Keep both hands on the steering wheel so you can control the vehicle's direction of travel. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Why should you use your mirrors when you see a hazard ahead? Now, that is a very good question, and I like that question. It's a very interesting one. Why should you use your mirrors when you see a hazard ahead? And it's one of the most important questions in driving a car on the road or any of the vehicles. And it is the most common question asked in the theory test as well, because you will need to accelerate out of danger to assess how your actions will affect the traffic behind, because you will need to brake sharply and stop to check what's happening on the road ahead. I think to accelerate out of danger, you do not speed up your car when you trying to get yourself out of danger, or maybe you do, but that's not the question being asked. The question is asked if there is a hazard ahead, there's something dangerous, and we can see it from our mirrors. But why should we be using the mirrors to see it? I think the most likely the answer to this question is the option 2, to assess how your actions will affect the traffic behind, because that hazard that we can see it before the cars behind us. We can see that hazard before the cars, before those drivers that are behind driving us. I think so. So the reason we should be using our mirrors is to assess our actions, so it will not be causing any danger for the drivers behind us, and we can stop here in a safe manner for a hazard ahead coming towards us. And I think we should go for the number 2 before discussing any other options here. You got that one correct as well. And now we here have the explanation. You should be constantly scanning the road for clues about what's going to happen next. Check your mirrors regularly, particularly as soon as you spot a hazard. What's happening behind may affect how you respond to hazards ahead. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. You are following a large vehicle. Why should you stay a safe distance behind it? Again, one of the most important question again being asked, and why should we stay behind a large vehicle? Could be a lorry, could be a big van, could be uh, any other vehicle that is bigger than a car. Uh, it could be a tractor uh, being driven on the road. So why do we need to maintain a safe distance between the large vehicles and when we are driving on the road? So just imagine yourself. So there's a vehicle, large vehicle, bigger than the size of your car, and it's driving ahead of you. But why is it important to keep a safe distance between that vehicle and yourself? I think it's because if I have a vehicle in front of me driving, and that large vehicle, it would obstruct my way. Sorry, it would obstruct my view to see the road ahead of me, to spot any hazards, any situation that's going to cause any dangers for me or for the drivers driving behind me. And you never know, all of a sudden that big vehicle can brake, and you have to also stop all of a sudden. So it's good to keep your distance between those large vehicles. That's what I can think of. Let's see what the options been given to us. You will be able to corner more quickly. You will help the large vehicle to stop more easily. You will give the driver a chance to see you in their mirrors. You will keep out of the wind better. For me, the number two and number three. This is the number two. This is the number three. One of these answers most likely be one of these options is most likely to be the answer of these questions, and I think I'm gonna go for the number three. Woohoo, we got it correct. And why is it correct? Because if you are following a large vehicle but are so close to it that you cannot see its exterior mirrors, the driver won't be able to see you. Keeping well back will also allow you to see the road ahead by looking past the large vehicle. Okay, let's move on to the next question. You are waiting to turn right at the end of the road. What should you do if your view is obstructed by parked vehicles? Now imagine yourself, you have stopped on the junction, and a junction or a side road. You are waiting to turn right. You are going to make a right turn, but then there are cars parked on the right side of the car, on the right side of the road, limiting your view to see the drivers more clearly on that road. So, what kind of action? So, what kind of measures should be taken safely without causing any danger for other drivers and for ourselves? Let's see the options. Stop and then move forward slowly and carefully for a clear view. Move quickly to where you can see so you only block traffic from one direction. Wait for a pedestrian to let you know when it's safe for you to emerge. Turn your vehicle around immediately and find another junction to use. I think the answer to this question is most likely to be the number one. And why is that? Let's find out. Yes, it was the number one. At junctions, your view is often restricted by buildings, trees, or parked cars. You need to be able to see in order to judge a safe gap. Edge forward slowly and keep looking all the time. don't cause other road users to change speed or directions as you merge. Okay, that would be the end of this lesson. We have covered another 5 questions of this topic, which is alertness. And I think in this topic there are 26 questions. I have already made 2 lessons, and that was our third lesson on this topic of the theory test. So I think there are 2 more left lessons to make. And yep, so that is it for this lesson today. And thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much. Have a nice day, and we'll see you again.